Hello? I think I'm streaming now. Okay. Um, I was just fooling around and searching for stuff. Things, you know, I've never done before in the game, such as this. I had no idea this area even existed in the game. But yeah, I'm in a place called Jarburg. It's right here. It's my first time ever coming here. Um, I found these NPC pots. They just live here and they like flowers. This guy's just foraging some flowers. And a bunch of flowers grow here, which I guess makes sense. The pots they're basically fertilizer pots. So a lot of flowers just gonna grow here. They're also, these pot men are also found all around the minor herb trees. So it makes sense that a bunch of flowers grow here. This is a good place to just farm flowers. And I think, yeah, these are like used for making pot innards. Yeah, pretty sure. A lot of these pots use some form of flowers, but some of them need more than just that. Some flowers don't grow here like the blood flowers, but a lot of flowers do grow here. Fall blooms do not grow here. Oh, but you do get cracked pots here. That's good. And most of these flowers are not from here, but yeah, you can use the flowers to craft other things. But yeah, um, this is like contrasting this with what we know about the pot people and pot insides from the DLC. It puts a lot of things into perspective. Look at this. These little babies here, they're just doing a little exercise, aerobics. Isn't that cute? While in the DLC, we know how these things are made. So I'm wondering why was the practice carried over here when we're apparently told that this is the justification for America's war, or one of them, in genocide against the all of the Hornsen. Even though all of the Hornsen were not necessarily doing this, only one village practiced this, and even one of the people who practiced it, they pointed out that they regretted doing it. That they found it disgusting, and they stopped doing it. They regretted it, so they tried to they tried to like create pots using different innards. That was it was found on one of the cookbooks. It was their redemption, or I guess their way of redeeming themselves. Um, if these things are here, and I was having a conversation with people online, like they were saying, "Well, no, these guys are different. These pots are different. They're not bad because yeah they're not the same as the ones in the DLC. All right, those are people who were forced in there against their will, and they're just um and and they're also alive. They're people who were alive when they were made. And these pots they're just pots made from dead warriors. And I'm like, is that really even confirmed? Or is that just inferred from what Alexander does after the Radon fight? That doesn't mean that Alexander himself wasn't alive, or what constitutes Alexander prior to him doing that to Radon. It doesn't mean that his insides weren't alive when he was constructed. And I also ask people online, well, okay, you want to say all the pots are just dead warriors put into the pot? Well, then how do you explain the babies? How do you explain the baby pots? What's that about? Trying to say these are dead warriors in these little pots? That sounds like a reach to me. Um, and I guess they didn't really have anything to say to me, but I don't know. I would assume that they would say, "Yeah, these are just dead warriors. They're adults. You're lying. You're lying. They're not actually kids." Well, that's what everybody's been calling them. Everybody's been calling these kids, and there's an NPC here that confirms that they're a kid. Let's go talk to them. It's one of my favorite new NPCs that I just discovered. Let's go talk to them. Here they are.
Diaz's smooth and silky hands feel nice when he pats us. But I wish we had a potentate big and strong like you.
And even they mentioned potentates. Who are the potentates? They were not elaborated on in the main game. We find out what a potentate is in the DLC, and presumably, I guess presumably here as well. We know what they are in the DLC, but presumably here as well. Yeah, they're the people who create the pot men, and we know how the other potentates create pot men. They stuff body parts into the pots. So you can't tell me that this is not a kid. They have a child's voice. They even talk about growing up to be like Alexander. They talk about Alexander earlier. I exhausted the dialogue where they talked about him. There's also more to this quest that I need to finish. But yeah, they bring him up. They know Alexander is from this town. Jarburg. He's from here. But he left to go be a warrior. And this kid, Pot, talks about growing up to be just like him. So they are definitively a child. So how are you going to say that this is dead warrior Pot? No, this is a child. Presumably with insides made from child body parts, or maybe the pots. Maybe okay. I'll even give like a I'll make a consideration for maybe the pot men can mate. Maybe that's it, and that's how these little pots are born. That's possible. That's possible. But there's still the potentates in this world, and this child knows of potentates. So I'm gonna doubt it. I'm doubting that's how these things are. I doubt that's how they multiply. They're made by somebody. We don't ever get to meet them in the main game, but that's probably a touchy subject. But they elaborated on it in the DLC. But we're supposed to think, oh yeah, America's better for some reason, but she does the same thing, and she genocides a bunch of people who didn't even have anything to do with making pots. Like all of the Hornset did not make pots. It was just the potentates of Bonnie Village. It was one village that did that. It was Bonnie Village. We don't even know if all the other Hornset knew about that shit. At best, you could likely say Inquisitors knew about it, but not the rest of the Hornset. Everybody didn't know about everything the Inquisitors were even doing. The Inquisitors were very secretive. So, so why did every Hornet deserve to be genocided? Why are we justifying genocide anyway? We're justifying genocide because something bad happened with America. Why are we trying to sympathize genocides in the first place? It's like it's like America was already a genocider before we even found out about all the stuff from the DLC. She was already going around wiping out people, wiping out the giants, enslaving misbegottens, persecuting anyone with horns, and like what did any other horn sit in the lands between like have to do with anything that went on in the shadow realm anyway? Cause obviously they call them omen in this lands between, but they weren't even born yet. There's just omen that just exist in this world, and they're persecuted. So why that's not nothing. None of that is justified when they had nothing to do with any of that stuff that we're trying to use to justify America's actions. It's a like this is what everybody keeps saying. Well, America was in the right now. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? She genocided a bunch of people and persecuted a bunch of people. Why are we justifying that? At best, she should go. She should have gone after the potentates responsible for that. But no, she went after anyone with horns, and not even just anyone with horns. Anyone who is untouched by the grace. So that means even people who aren't horn set. Anyone untouched by the grace of gold, as Mesmer points out. That's anyone. That could be anyone. They were supposed to just be taken out on site. That's what Mesmer was doing. It wasn't just horn sent. That's why he attacks us. We're not horn sent, but he attacks us. We don't have the grace of gold. But that's supposed to be justified. I don't know. I just wanted to comment on this since I was playing, and I'm like, man, I'm going to forget what I want to say if I make this later. So I decided to just do this little brief stream now. I got to go do some other things, but I don't know. I guess I could talk some more, but yeah, there's a bunch of stuff I found out in this DLC, and I'm trying to contrast it with the things we got from the main game. I did a few character quests that I never finished, like Raya's quest. I'm still doing her quest. I need to go kill Riker to likely complete it. I haven't killed him yet. I just left him for later. He's pretty. He should be pretty easy. I never really had trouble with Riker. I think I might fight him without that spear though. Might just fight him with some spells. Yeah, I just wanted to point out the Potman here. Like, there's a big contradiction here. You'd think if this was like so traumatizing for America, and Hornsent are so traumatizing that she shoves them down in the sewers. Um, why do they even have Potman? This even has the Erdtree seal on it, the seal of approval. What the fuck does that mean? This gets me thinking. Like the DLC is like a big old retcon, as far as I'm noticing. It's just trying to retcon shit that America did in a way to make her look more sympathetic than she deserves. Like, I don't know why they want to try to make America sympathetic when Gwen never got that courtesy. Who else from the prior games got that courtesy? Any villain or king or god Who's gotten that any of that sympathy or walk back like this? Ain't nobody out here trying to justify Gwen. I don't see any videos about Gwen was a good guy or any of that shit. Shit, I've tried to argue that at best, Gwen wasn't lying, or at least the people that are associated with Gwen were not lying. Like people say, Frompt was lying, and I'm like, what was he lying about actually? When? How did he lie? He said exactly what was the truth. Yeah, Gwen has fallen. We need to replace him. Um, and the people in the game know what replacing Gwen means. Everybody knows that he's hollowed out, and that happened after he kindled the first flame. Right? People know that in game. Our character's supposed to know that. This isn't a surprise to the actual in-game people, the people who are in the game. This is known. It's a surprise to the player because they don't know what it means. This is the person who's playing the game, but their actual player character, their chosen undead, they know what that means. All right, they can see when they meet Gwen, they see that he's hollow too. They don't even have to listen to Front. They can just see his ass. So if they're choosing to kindle the first flame, they already know. And we see with Dark Souls 3, they clearly know what it means because they keep doing it. And after seeing what happens to anyone who's kindled the first flame, they become kindling. This is not a secret. So Fromp was not lying. At best, you could say Gwendolyn was lying but what he was lying about was not really the task you're following though. He was lying about Guinevere. That's about it. Her still being there. But that's not really relevant to the overall sort of the overall task is irrelevant to Guinevere, to be honest. She's not there anymore, but what they have to do is still correct. They need to kill the first flame. And they're replacing Gwen when they do it. So they tell him that he's fallen. And that the other lords need to be defeated. They tell. I mean, that's just correct. And Gwen was the first. He was the first one to kindle. So how was he the one trying to say that? Oh yeah, the undead need to be the ones doing this when he was the first one to be kindled in the first place. Obviously, it's not about the humans doing that. It's about whoever's the most powerful doing it. That's why he did it. That's why he did it first. He didn't say, use a bunch of undead as a shield. No, he went and did it himself. So I don't know. You can at best say that he was a bad person, but he didn't lie to the undead or say that they're the only ones who should do that. That's just headcanon. So I want to see those videos since we're gonna make excuses for America. Let's make excuses for Gwen then. Let's go see those videos now. I'm doubting I'm going to see those videos, obviously, but I'm just pointing out the contradictions, the double standard going on. It's really weird. I don't even like Gwen. But at least you can like argue against some things that are said, like a lot. Like they're trying to say that Framp is a liar, but not Kate. Kate is telling you the truth. Um, what did the cave say that contradicted anything Framp said, though? Like, I listened to Kate, and what he said nothing that contradicts anything Framp said. Like, Kate just he insinuates that Gwen fears humans, and that doesn't really contradict anything Framp says, though. So I don't know. It's inconsequential what Gwen fears since he's hollowed out now. So Framp doesn't even need to say anything on that if it's true, you know. We do know Gwen feared the undead dark sort of substance in the Ring City because it created undead. That was the real reason. He didn't really fear humans so much as he feared that shit. That the deep. They called it some the what's it called in Ring City? The Merc Men came out of it. Yeah, basically all that dark sludge shit. That shit's was it tainted the armor of a bunch of the people in the Ring City, the knights from the Ring City. Um, so it never really deteriorated. It just regenerated, and the people in Ring City regenerated too because they're like zombies. They just they don't die. They just regenerate, but they become they become zombies. So that's that was an unwanted side effect of that. And Gwen himself everything becomes zombified after a certain point in the world of Dark Souls. Like even Gwen hollows out in the coming of the Dark Age, and once your light dies out, you become hollow. Um, but that's specifically related to the Dark Soul. So that's why that was feared, though. And even his daughter, yeah, they're all zombie-like too. When we meet her in the Ring City, Feleanor, she becomes like that too. And when we meet the Nameless King, he's hollowed out. So it's just something that affects all living things. The betrayed life is what it was pointed out. That's why Gwen um, put a seal on the armor, and the armors and the seal on not even just the armor, but also the people who were afflicted with the dark sign or the dark soul. The dark sign is put on them so they can link them to the bonfires to rejuvenate them, so they can become unhollow. Basically, that's what I got from that. You can use the bonfires from the bonfire maidens to retain your humanity. That's what I got from it. That's why the humanity is relevant in the Dark Souls world, because you're not a zombie. You stay a normal human. It's very distinct in that world. That's what the humanity means. You're not a zombie. Um, we learn about places where the dark is worshipped in the Dark Souls lore, and towns. There's even towns like Lordran, not Lordran, Londor. I mean, in Dark Souls 3, that place is full of dark worshippers, but they're all zombies. We learned that in the lore. people who live there are zombies, right? They have to wear rings to look human. So, so that's what that was about. A lot of people get it wrong and think that Gwen made them undead, but no, the Dark Soul does that itself. That's what it does. It's the Dark Soul effect. And the only way the people who were zombified in Londor even, or the dark wraiths, the only way they even keep their sanity is by feeding on other people's humanity, despite being zombies. They feed on other people's humanity. Typically, a lot of people who followed the gods, I guess, that's there's an ample amount of them, so they have an ample supply of humanity food. But eventually, you're going to run out of that because if you want to promote the anti-god era, you're not going to have many people following the gods anyway. You're just going to be feeding on each other, but otherwise, you're going to hollow out and become just feral zombies. So the dark endings never looked like a good thing to me. Because then I'm thinking of places like Ulasil. We saw what happens when everything is just overtaken by the dark. Yeah, the townspeople are just a bunch of feral beasts. That's what happens. It's not like the age of a normal human. Like people got this idea in their head whenever you do the dark ending. Well, that's just the age of humanity. It's just going to be normal, just without the gods. Like no, it's the gods are already gone. Like people need to. Don't people realize that the gods are already gone in these games? That the only active god in any of the Dark Souls games is Gwendolyn. Everyone else is out of commission. And then Gwendolyn's gone in Dark Souls 3. He gets eaten practically. So the only reason to even be kindling the flame is for this, the humans' benefit at that point. There's no gods to be serving at that point. The reason to do it is like if you just like the sun and you want to retain humanity. That's it. And we learned from the Firekeeper that light's gonna return even if it's dark. It's like it comes in cycles. No matter what we do, it's gonna return to light anyway, and vice versa. So it's not an unnatural part of the existence. Light is not bad. The sun is not bad. It's just part of nature, but it has its like cycles. Anyway, that's what I got from it. Like everyone else wants to say, like, "Oh yeah, you're just serving the gods that don't even exist anymore." But I never saw it like that. Yeah, I decided to dress appropriately when I came to this town, as you can see. I think I'm respecting their culture by doing that. These poor men, these poor pot men, who were made in very suspect manner by the Erd Tree folk, going by this seal in this world. But we want to lump all the blame onto the horn scent, which is weird to me. That's like it's a retcon. We're gonna take all of the sins from America away and blame it on people who were the original natives of this world, of this, or not so much this world, but they were the original natives in the DLC. They're just the indigenous of that land. America is an invader. That's another thing that's fucked up about it. America's not really even from that land. Her people are not from there. And here's an item. Let me read it. Here's an item from the game in the DLC that points that out even further. It's right here. Is this shit the spirit seal or the spiral tree seal? I mean, look at this shit. Sacred seal of soiled amber engraved with the spiral tree design. Enhances spiral incantations. The majesty of the white tower stretching to reach the gods. I guess they mean inner Ilum. Even inspired a secret faith in the invaders, the people of the Erd Tree. Just straight up pointing out the American people are invaders. They're not from there. They're invading. They're not. The Hornset are the indigenous of that land. Now, here's another thing I want to read. Oh yeah, we want to justify genociding them, and we're gonna retcon some bullshit excuse for why America, the invader, America. I always saw America as an allegory for America. And she's designed very much in the fashion of Columbia, the anthropomorphic goddess of America. Well, not anthropomorphic. I mean, a goddess is already anthropomorphic. I just mean she's like a goddess embodiment of America, which is she's just a rip off of Nike. But yeah, it's supposed to be representative of America as the manifest destiny of the people who ran America and invaded in the name of the America idea. Displaced people for the American idea, stuff like that. Genocided for the American idea. Let me find these ashes. There's some ashes that elaborate a little bit more on the world in the DLC. Is it? Oh yeah, it's Cursed Blade Mirror. Let's read this right quick. I think I read it before, but I want to get into a little bit or focus a little bit more on what it's saying. Whoops. Ashen remains in which spirits yet dwell. Used to summon Cursed Blade Mirror. Cursed Blade Mirror is it's a horn set. They're basically an ascetic. The ascetics are like disciplined. I guess you could say warriors who have dance-like moves. They're the tough as fuck, dancing, twirling, horn set enemies that you find randomly in places. They're like a mini boss, practically the way they move and do a lot of damage. Although the more leveled up you get, the more damage they take. So they're not. I killed them in like 2 shots now, but they were hard when I started. Yeah, that's what these ashes are. This is based on them, and the curse. They also they have that curse blade weapon, which is like a backhand blade, a variant of it, but you could also throw it. They appear to dance when they spin their shimmering circular blades. These ascetics who failed to become tutelary. Oops, sorry. One second. I gotta click something real quick. One second. All right. Tutelary, yes. Ashen remains in which spirits yet dwell. Use Curse Blade. Yeah, I already read that. Curse Blade appear to dance when they spin their shimmering circular blades. These ascetics who failed to become tutelary deities I guess there's a method by which they were trying to become deities, which is very mysterious. But, apparently, there's a method that's idealized toward this. There might have been demigods that like horn sent demigods for all I know, and they're like trying to become Imperiums. I don't know. I don't know if you can manually try to become an Imperium though. I think you might just have to be handpicked. But these ascetics who failed to become tutelary deities were a scourge for those who attempted to invade the horn sent homeland. Affirming the Shadow Realm is where we are. That's their homeland. That's the horn sent homeland. Right? And invaders had become a problem in their homeland. America's people among them. Long ago, before the land was overshadowed by invasion, further getting into that problem, this scourge was shunned. So these ascetic curse blades were not liked prior to all of the invasions that happened. I guess they were repurposed as warriors to fend off invaders prior to the invasion problem that happened later. But yeah, these were seen as like degenerates, and so because I guess they would assault more than just foreigners or invaders at that point. They were just fucking with the people, the natives there, but their fellow natives. I mean, the scourge was shunned, and the curse blades were in prison. They were put in prison because they were just too much of a problem before. And I can see why. They're fucking annoying. It sucks fighting them, or it used to. It was during this confinement that Mira is the name of this curse blade, Ash, met Labyrinth. Labyrinth was the boss we fought in one of the jails, those jar jails. She was in prison in there, indicating that, you know, the jar shit was not just for, it wasn't just for America's people. Like, I guess other people were jailed and potential candidates for these jars as well if they were doing this prior to the invasions. Maybe they weren't doing that prior to the invasion, but this prisoner was still there in that jar jail. So obviously, they might have been a candidate. Right? She's a Hornsent, though. And upon her death, Labyrinth was plunged into a devastating darkness. Yet her friend Mira died while in prison, and they went stark raving mad, and then, I guess they decided to fight whoever came into their cell, which was us when we get there. So yeah, this just points out the invasion shit. Let me see if there's anything else new that I got. I got some new ashes in the DLC. What else do we got to show though? I don't know if this shows all of my ashes. It might. I think it does. We got the demi-humans, skeletal bandits, clayman ash. This is old shit from the main game. Oh yeah, I got these manfly ashes. This is from the DLC. I don't think I read these. But yeah, ashen remains in which spirits are dwell. Two of the manflies attack foes from the air, while the third spits poison from the rear. Afflicted horn scent. So this confirmed that all the fly people we're seeing in the DLC, they're horn scent. They got mutated from some weird scourge illness. Afflicted horn scent eventually metamorphized or fused into a fly-like form. It was believed that the moment the transformation took place, they were relieved from their suffering. So they were hurting prior to the full metamorphosis. It was an illness. Anything else new? Let me make sure before I get out of here. Oh, Inquisitor ashes. This is from the DLC. These are the Inquisitors. They all seem to be women. Um, the Inquisitor hags wield barbed candlesticks. One of the Inquisitors casts a tower hex to heal HP, while the hex of the other boosts her own attack. Yeah, I rarely see these guys by themselves. So yeah, that just checks out. Inquisitions often perplex the minds of the uninitiated, and so seniority was viewed as an asset. See, only the top seniority was like in on these or informed on these inquisitions. It wasn't just any horn set. You had to be top echelon to be in on the inquisitions and what the hell they were doing. And I'm only assuming the Inquisitors knew about the potentate jar shit. They probably didn't even know, for all I know, because it seems like only one village was doing it. And let me read those potentate ashes or cookbooks. Let's read them. I don't know how many I got. I'll try to read all of them. I think they all say the same thing, the initial summary. I think they all say the same thing. They're different numbers, but they might just have the same description. These are maps. Where are the cookbooks? Are the cookbooks somewhere else? Yeah, they are. They might be in key items or something. But these are cookbooks. This is from my new stuff. This is not it. I'm being summoned as a hunter. Oh, fuck. I'm trying to discuss lore, damn it. I guess we'll try to kill whoever this is. They might have a busted build. I'm not used to all the new shit from the DLC, so I might die. There's still some new shit I'm discovering. New moves that people have that I need to prep for. Oh, this motherfucker. They're using that gravity shit. I got the same ability, though. Damn it. I didn't get there in time. I have that spell, though, that they were using. I have all the spells they had. They had that blue glint, the glint saber. I think it's called the glint. I think it's called glint saber, actually. I have that. I just never use it, though. I want something with more reach and that doesn't use my FP. If it's going to be that short, it needs to not use my FP. But it's fast, though. Yeah, where were we? Where was I? No, not that. It might be in key items. Here they are, yeah. It is in key items. Okay, where's the potentate shit? This nomadic warriors. We all know about them. Armor, potentate. I think it's all in alphabetical. No, it's not. It's not alphabetical at all. That would make it easier, dude. Yeah, here's the Greater Potentate Cookbook. There's number 1, a record of crafting techniques of the Greater Potentate, who roamed lands near and far, haunted by the grotesque practice of his village of birth. He stuffed great pots with all manner of things. See, acquired the knowledge. It seems like he was haunted by this fact. He found it grotesque. But it's the Bonnie Village they're talking about. They were the ones who were doing that. And Bonnie Village is where Horn sent the characters from. Whoops. I accidentally moved to the other category. It all says the same. Okay. It has the same summary. Oh no, that's the wrong shit. But I think the potentate has the same description on all the numbers. A greater potentate, yeah, it's the same. Yeah. There's some potentate things I'm missing. Missing 3, 4, and 5. Wonder where those are. Might be related to the quest, the character quest that I fucked up. I fucked up all of them. They made it real easy to fuck up the quest. Hmm. Anything else from the DLC? Saint Trina Disciple. I think this might be from the DLC. Yeah, it's the Eternal Sleep Pot. A record of crafting techniques left by a disciple who pursued the teachings of the Saint of the Deep, or Saint of Sleep, not Deep. Yet what seemed a gentle sleep at first ripened into velvet. Mad Craftsman. The Hefty Pot, yeah. Record of crafting techniques left by the craftsman who served Midra, master of the Monts, and Nanaya, its lady. His eyes were turned by the flame of frenzy. Yeah, Nanaya was his wife. Um, Midra's wife. A lot of people in the trailer thought she was pregnant, but that never checked out. I don't know why they thought she was pregnant. It was barely noticeable. A belly was barely noticeable in that picture, but a lot of people just assumed. I don't know. I don't know why. Hmm. Egon's cookbook. A record of crafting techniques left by a warrior who challenged the vile dragon Bale, only to be grievously injured and broken by fear. Yeah, we already know that. We read this. Hmm. Speaking of Midra, yeah, the horns that hated the frenzy flame. Actually, I need to go back to the round table to even show this because I don't actually have that weapon that I'm gonna reference. I gotta go look at it at the round table. I got some new armor from doing some quest. It's the wolf armor that I've been looking for. The ever since I've been had this game, I've been looking for that armor because it's been used in the promotional of the game forever. And I thought that armor looks so cool. When am I gonna fucking find it? And apparently, it's locked behind NPC quest that you can easily miss. Like if you kill Record, you're kind of locked out of the quest that you can get it from. So no wonder I never found this fucking armor. It's tied to the Bernal quest, and I think yeah, if you kill Riker before you finish it, you're straight up locked out from getting this armor and some other armor too, I believe, and weapons and some spells, and some new ashes.
Don't worry, my athlete.
Yeah, it's this fucking shit. Now let me read his remembrance first, and then we'll read the items attached. This is Midra. He was in the Shadow Realms. He's one. I guess he must have been one of the invaders too, because he's not a Hornsup. The power of its namesake can be unlocked. Yeah. As the golden barb inflicted internal agony upon him, Midra held fast to Danaya's entreaty. Endure. The word was a curse. That's why you should have never accepted the frenzy flame, fuckhead. But this is like a callback to the King Allant from Demon Souls and the Yellow King reference as well. But I guess both characters are inspired from the Yellow King. Old King Allant. All right. Great Sword of Damnation. Now this is relevant. Golden great sword that once pierced the body of Midra, master of the mounts, the mansion. I don't know why they're so fancy. Just say fucking mansion. Why we got to be all fancy like this? Used by the horn scent in the execution of a damnation like no other. Okay, so basically, the horn scent used this barb, um, great sword to basically seal Midra's frenzy flame. Because the horn scent really fucking hate the frenzy flame, although some of them also succumbed to it. As we see, some of the Inquisitors got infected with the frenzy flame. But, anybody can. Like, the rats are afflicted too. But, initially the Inquisition was for shit like this. We got that confirmed. That's why Inquisitors were all around Midra's room in the abyssal woods. I mean, they were trying to fend off of this shit, and they used this to basically seal a frenzy flame. Right? And I'm gonna point out that even more. Like, here's this item to show you that the horn scent did not like the frenzied flame. I mean, no one should, but the horn scent especially did not like it. Where's that item? Might be easier to check here. I think this is it. Yeah, it's this shit. A spirit grave. So this is basically a spirit grave. You know all those graves you see in the field in the DLC? That's what this is. It's just on fire. And you can use it as a throwable. A spirit gravestone burned by frenzied flame. Spirits are eternal, and yet frenzied flame melts them away. So that's why this spirit grave was able to even be on fire, because frenzied flame interacts even with the non-corporeal. Spirits are eternal, and yet frenzied flame melts them away. Regardless, no wonder the horn scent forbid the flame's use. The horn scent did not like this shit. All right, that's why they were there with Midra. A lot of people have it all wrong. It's like, oh, the horn scent, they're so evil. They even made this guy be a frenzied flame. Like, where is that stated? Nowhere. No, they went there to watch his ass, and they sealed off his frenzied flame. That's what happened. The horn scent hate the frenzied flame. Everything, they're in tune with everything spiritual. And the Inquisitors especially, they don't worship the frenzied flame. They worship the crucible torrent. So yeah, they wouldn't be pimping that shit. Let's read the other item. Then I gotta go. I just want to elaborate on all this stuff. A lot of people just getting a bunch of shit wrong or not countering any questions I ask. I mean, it's not like a real argument. It's just like, there's some, I mean, asking people questions, and they like, I don't know, they didn't really look at, like they say an answer that they didn't really double check or anything. Because there's things in the game that contradict their answer. It's a fun debate though, but yeah, I'm just trying to point out the things that don't really hold up with what they're saying. Incantation and praise of Midra, Lord of the Frenzied Flame, summons an apprentice of the Lord's head to spew frenzied flame. This incantation can be used while in motion. Okay. The apparition will remain for as long as the input is held. The Lord of Frenzied Flame shall take their torment, despair, their affliction, every sin, every curse, all melted away. This is the the pamphlet on the Frenzied Flame cult or followers pamphlet. Yet Mindra, like the others before him, was too weak to become a lord. Yeah. That's why all those, you see all those bodies on the front line. I thought they were statues at first, but no, those are just straight up corpses. But on the front line of the mansion, the Mindra mansion, there's like a dozen of them, and they all have that little fucking orange yellow glow stick coming out of their neck, and because what happened with Mindra is exactly what happened with them. They are post Mindra boss fight. They did the same shit as him. They ended up pulling out the that torture device, barbed sword that the Hornsent put in them, and they died. That was the intention. You can live so long as you endure this torture device, because you're gonna die if you pull it out, and you deserve to be tortured because you tried to be a lord of frenzy. So that's a no-no, and that's why all those other guys are on the line. He's not the first. I mean, he's not the first. He's just one on the line of many. So he had too many of these guys acting up. So they had good reason to be there to torture this asshole. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm tired and I gotta do stuff before I leave later. But take care. I might do a real stream later today. I don't know. I gotta go work out. I haven't worked out in a while. I don't know. I might go do that instead. But I'll try to probably do at least one normal stream this week, and then I'll try to get back into a more consistent thing. And I want to edit some videos for YouTube. Just trying to find a proper time to do it. Anyway, take care. Anyone sees this shit. Bye.